How about the Purple Heart on this player right here? Available right now without the long wait at crossroadcues.com. This just came into the inventory. I would give it used but not abused condition. Nice looking Purple Heart player by Mr. Eddie Cohen. Now, I just spoke to Eddie about this cue. Eddie remembered it right away. How about the Purple Heart in it, though? Look at that. Purple Heart is not just one of the most beautiful woods that cue makers use to make cues. It's one of the best playing woods by far. I've spoke to many really good cue makers, and when they give you their top lists of woods that are known for really good playability, I mean that really nice, solid hit, Purple Heart is always close to the top of the list. Of course, you know, that's subjective, right? Some people like the way Bird's Eye hits. Some people like the way Ebony hits. I've never sold a cue with Purple Heart up top that somebody said, hey, I don't like the way this plays. That's why they use the wood, but I love the way it looks as well. So what Eddie told me about this cue would be $2,600 to $2,700 right now if you were to have him make it for you. Here's the catch. You're going to wait about 4 years or more to have it made. That's how long the wait list is, and it's worth every moment. Eddie makes some great playing cues. You can tell this one's cored with maple. That's done for the consistency of the hit. Maple has a really good hit to it, especially when you core Purple Heart with maple. That way the cue is not too heavy up front. It's also done, of course, for durability, stability. There's a number of different reasons why they do that. So if you want a cue to last for a really long time, a Purple Heart cue, when you core it with maple, it's going to give you a way better chance of that cue staying straight. By the way, this one rolls nice and straight. No dents or dings in the forearm, okay? I've got this cue priced way lower than what you would pay for it new from Eddie. And there's only a couple of minor issues, okay? Nothing structural. The cue rolls good. The cue plays good. One of the maple shafts does have a pretty darn good taper roll in the center. They're both 13 millimeter. The other one rolls straight. The shafts are in nice condition, but one of them does have a taper roll. Everything rolls straight when you attach it to the cue, and the butt obviously rolls nice and straight. If it was me, that wouldn't bother me with the maple shaft because I don't personally even use the maple shafts. Now, if you play with the maple shafts, just know this: when you roll the shaft, the tip doesn't come off the table. So it's not going to affect the playability. You just have a taper roll like in the center of the shaft. So like the center of the shaft, if you notice right there, it's moving in the center, okay? But the tip doesn't come off the table, okay? So the other shaft, I'll show you. The other shaft is rolling nice and straight, nice and smooth. Smooth like butter. You guys know that we're all about full disclosure here. That's the only real way to sell cues or to sell anything. You always want to under-promise and over-deliver, right? Don't try to hide anything. You're always better off being honest about everything and then price things accordingly, right? The other thing about it is this. If you notice at the bottom right here, got some nicks in the finish, okay? No big, huge dents. Boy, I tell you, I've seen some cues that people have played with, and man, it looks like they got hit like by a Mack truck. But as I run my finger over that, you can feel a few just little nicks right there in a row, right there at the bottom of the cue. As I pull it this way, you can't even really hardly see that. That obviously doesn't affect the playability. And you could easily have that refinished if you wanted to. You could have that sanded down and cleared over, or you could just simply refinish the cue if you wanted to. Totally not necessary. You got a couple of marks at the bottom of the butt cap there also as well. Other than that, and one of you might have too much to drink on league night, and you could do all that in one session, okay? Then you have other people that take really, really good care of their cues. They play with them for 4 or 5 years, and you hardly ever see a speck on them, but that's very rare. If you're buying one of these great playing cues, let's face it, you're buying it to play with. So if somebody wants to get a very, very, very good playing cue by an extremely sought-after cue maker without waiting for 4 years and way under the retail value, this one's your Huckleberry right here. So what Eddie told me about it is this. These rings, what makes this a real special cue, it's not just a Purple Heart Merry Widow that has an awesome wrap on it. By the way, that is an embossed lizard wrap. That's real leather, and it's lizard print, so it's not real lizard, but it is real leather. Great wrap, too. Look at that. It matches the cue really nice. Nice texture on it. But the special part about this cue, what Eddie told me that came to memory, these are inlaid rings, okay? So these rings, the diamonds that you're seeing there, those are individual white diamond inlays, and then they have the white trim around them. Very in-depth inlay work, and that's at all positions of the cue. So if you count the shaft, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 position. If you don't count the shaft, of course, then you've got 4 position ring work. Eddie Cohen, of course, what we consider to be one of the best from out west. He is one of the most sought-after cue makers in the industry. He has recently won some awards, and he always gets a lot of positive feedback on his cues from the shows. But he has recently entered into some big shows in the ICCS among some of the greatest cue makers in the industry, and his cue won. Eddie always sells out at the Super Billiards Expo. And again, you're looking at a 4-year-plus wait list. Who wants this beautiful Purple Heart player with the great-looking white diamond rings, 3/8-10 modified pin, Purple Heart, available right now way, way, way under the normal retail value that you would pay if you were to buy the cue new. Financing available at crossroadcues.com. That means you can put little or even no money down, buy this cue with as low as 0% interest, and we will ship it to you lightning fast. Eddie Cohen at crossroadcues.com.